What is up, Mets fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Mets'd podcast. Of course, a series ender, so me and James can record at midnight to get you guys out an episode for the next morning. Lose a series to the Atlanta Braves, but we did win the season series. If for those of you keeping track at home, the Mets take the season series from the Braves.
When was the last time the Mets took a season series from the Braves, Mark?
2016.
It was 2017.
Ooh, close. Okay.
You want to roll through the Braves roster that season?
Yeah, let me take some guesses.
Take some guesses. Who do you think had the most plate appearances at second base for the Braves in 2017?
Second base for the Braves in 2017?
Yep.
Oh, man, is that going to be like Omar Infante?
No. Oh, whoa. No. Way more shocking.
Way more shocking.
I wouldn't even have remembered this guy played for the Braves.
Ricky Weeks.
But awesome player. No.
Who is it?
Brandon Phillips.
Okay. I see the O.
Right field, Nick Markakis. Left field, Matt Kemp. Tyler Flowers, a catcher.
Yikes.
Matt Adams on that team. Chase Darno. Anthony Recker got plate appearance on that team. R.A. Dickey was on that team.
Yikes. R.A. Dickey was playing in 2017. That feels insane.
Yeah, the Mets have. This is the first time the Mets have won the season series against the Braves since Ronald Acuna Jr. came up.
Well, that's great. We also got the thing that we're mostly going to talk about, which is going to be the Francisco Lindor interview with Mike Puma. Again, I don't know why we keep having this conversation, but we see clicks. We got to do it ourselves. So that's why you see it in the title and the thumbnail and everything. Francisco Lindor talks about future with the New York Mets. Before we get going into it, make sure you guys do subscribe to Mets Up over here on YouTube. If you're listening to us, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, drop us a rating, drop us a review, download, and subscribe. Big shout out to all our members. Big shout out to everybody in the Discord. We're soft organizing rotisserie chicken night at Citi Field, so if you want to be looped in, we'll talk about it a little bit later in the podcast, but the Discord's going to be the best place for all that information.
Yeah, this coming Tuesday night against the Padres at Citi Field. Tuesday, that's the 18th, rotisserie chicken night, Upper Deck, Citi Field. We're going to organize it later this week.
I like it. All right, let's talk about this Mets-Braves series real quick before we get going into the juicy gossip. Only took one of three. Zach Thornton pitched, Nolan McClain pitched. Everybody kind of did relatively what we expected. The Mets just didn't really hit enough to win the series.
They hit a lot on Monday. After the game on Monday, I was drinking a disgusting amount of Kool-Aid for the post-deadline Mets, ignoring everything in my brain and following everything in my heart, being like, maybe we are just going to go on a run. Again, stupid as hell. Nice to see the bullpen regress in a really massive way a few games after that. But in that game, we lit up Bryce Elder, thankfully. I said that was the goal this series, was lighting up Bryce Elder. Francisco Lindor got the home run, inching that OPS ever closer to 800, as, again, the puff pieces keep coming out about him. Can't wait to talk about that in a little bit. Brett Baty hit the grand slam, exactly where he hit his first career home run in Atlanta. It's just amazing how much he loves right field. He loves right field in Atlanta so much. He backed up a play. Who hit that off the wall? Was it Acuna? Yeah, Acuna hit it off the wall on Wednesday, and Luis Robert Jr. was just kind of hanging out in center when Carson Bench dove into the wall, and Brett Baty goes out to right field to get the ball into second base. But just a nice game on Monday. And again, there was that moment where I kind of was drinking the Kool-Aid about this Mets team being even like a better than 500 ball club with this god-awful roster down the stretch.
I mean, it's just the conversation we had on the last episode of that there are good pieces here for a core, and we're missing a very, very big one in Juan Soto right now, and they're playing better baseball than they were earlier in the season, and it felt like all this stuff happened a little bit too late. Again, threading the needle. The common theme of this season is just trying to be a little too particular, and it's probably a little bit too late now.
Yeah, definitely a little bit too late. I mean, we want to spend 10 to 15 minutes in these episodes now talking about the actual series and talk about all the juicy stuff that you guys are clicking on our titles and thumbnails for. But I liked seeing Christian Scott. I mean, he definitely wasn't super efficient in this game. His command was way worse than it's been lately. He had to battle a little bit, and that was kind of frustrating because he got spotted a 5-run lead before he took the mound. So would have liked to see him hang on for 5 and get a victory, but he's just one of those starts where he wasn't very fine against the lefties. And it's kind of unfortunate because the Braves don't really platoon, so he had the opportunity to face more righties than usual in this game. But, again, just a little wonky. Didn't have super great command, I think, of the sweeper or the cutter. Gave up a lot of hits. It was just, one of those starts where it wasn't really perfect, but the bullpen super picked him up.
This feels like the classic start of a guy coming back from a major surgery in a season where he's been pitching so incredibly well that when he isn't at that same level, you almost have to remind yourself again that this guy is coming back from a major injury. So there's going to be times where he just doesn't have the stuff. The arm strength looks great, but he's still building it up. He still doesn't have that many innings in the last few years underneath his belt. So for Christian Scott to have a human start against the Braves, yes, frustrating from the standpoint of couldn't get the win, couldn't get 5, But at the same time, and I know you're not saying this, James, but couldn't be less worried about Christian Scott right now. Honestly, I'm not worried about any Mets pitchers.
I'm worried. Worry's the furthest thing from my mind.
Yeah.
Even talking about the game on Tuesday, it was nice to get diced up by Martin Perez, not even have it affect my mood one iota. That was amazing. Like that
is nice.
That was beautiful to go through and see. It just, again, we're gonna run around all this stuff, chaos, haphazardly. It's really cool to see the growth of Nolan McLean, where he can have a game like he did on Tuesday, where he's not even close to being sharp in any way, shape, or form, and they still just can't even touch him. Like that's an amazing thing for a pitcher who's still technically a rookie as he continues his pursuit towards the Rookie of the Year with now 3.42 ERA. Just
down.
To be, again, not sharp. Sinker command was kind of all over the place, missed badly with a few of them. Finding more reasons to lean on that high fastball, which is really cool how he's been able to locate that, but also kind of hypothesizing that maybe that's impacting his sinker command, and he went to more cutters in this because the curveball was really, really wonky again, and just not that many sweepers. He just fully went away from the sweeper. Nolan McLean threw 2 sweepers in this game. I can never imagine a time that he should be doing that besides like this where he just doesn't know where it's going.
It really feels like at times in that stadium, and this is completely anecdotal, that it plays like Coors for pitchers, where I've never seen so many good pitchers who can spin it just completely lose it like you do in Atlanta. And not even like watching the Mets play there, watching other teams play there too. It's like, oh, an ace walks into Atlanta and he gets his tits lit? How is that even possible? It feels like it happens way more than often. Yes, the Braves have a good lineup, so that's going to play a part of it, but I know it's like sneaky the second highest elevation, I think, in the league.
I was about to say that. It's not enough elevation to impact the pitches in any way or shape or form to what Coors Field does. But this is the second highest elevation in all of baseball, which is a very, very... Use that at the bars this weekend, guys. A trivia question with your homies. Which stadium in Major League Baseball is the second highest elevation? Because it's Atlanta. But, again, when McLean doesn't have it, he's still so good. That is the mark of someone who can grow in to being an ace. Also liked how the day after a start, he's out there taking ground balls at Francisco Lindor, asking for footwork pointers at shortstop. Like, who does shit like that?
No, the Mets are definitely, like, loose, and I think, and again, we'll talk more about Lindor here in a couple minutes, but, like, the fact that we're seeing more of these things, I think, happening as the season's gone on, where it felt like at the beginning of the year, we couldn't get a morsel of anything about anything going on with this team whatsoever. Now we're seeing guys seem to be hanging out a little bit more, having a little bit more fun. I wish that the fun coincided with winning and chasing a playoff spot, which it does not. So it does make the pressure feel a little bit less for these guys. But maybe that's just something where they can use that as a positive to grow for next season, because we can't keep doing this year after year now. Like, the Mets do need to take this pressure and handle it well. This is a good way to learn it.
It's almost like there was a target on their back coming into the season. They didn't really know how to handle that pressure, right?
No target. You can't put a target on a back for a team that sucks.
Yeah, well, again, they suck now, but the target was on their back. Also, we saw Gabriel Arias' Mets debut. He's got to have the worst hair in Major League Baseball. I don't know what's going on there with that thing.
It's a look that I don't think...
It's shiny.
You got great hair, James. I don't think you could even pull that hair off. It is truly one of a kind, and I don't know how one gets hair to look like that.
No, I don't either. But again, shout out him for getting it to look like that. Also, I want to know what
looked back at that trade. By the way, how did the Cleveland Guardians get 7 prospects for Mike Clevenger?
At the time, Clevenger was nasty. Like,
I know,
was
but
a moment in time. We didn't know how much of a shithead he was. He had absolute piece of dirt.
They just got so many guys. Like, they got Naylor, they got Hedges, they got Gabriel Arias. None of them have really panned out to be like these superstars, but like, it was a crazy trade looking back at it.
I mean, Preller's he's AJ Preller. We're seeing the Padres next week, so we'll talk about him then. Also, I don't know why Jorge Polanco maybe stopped taking 300 swings before games, because it seems like that's the only time this whole year the swing was right, and the swing's not looked anywhere close to right since then whatsoever.
So bad.
This is also, I feel like this happened to the Mets more times I can ever remember this year, but they didn't even have an extra base hit in this game.
Well, that's what happens, and we kind of joked about it at the beginning of the year. It's like, for everybody who, the Mets are swinging for the fences too much. Okay, congrats. Now you can watch Bo Bichette and Marcus Semien get 600 plate appearances this year instead of guys who hit home runs. Enjoy singles. You're going to have a hard time scoring runs in a lot of games.
Science experiment for the 1 minute we have to tell you about why we love Quint's electrolytes, including watermelon salt, raspberry salt, and I'm holding a citrus salt. Just opened it. I'm going to pour some powder into my water, shake it up. And AJ, why do you love it?
I love Quince because after a long night out, a long day at the gym, a long walk in this Florida humidity, it tastes great and it gives me all the electrolytes I need. Why? Sugar-free, stevia-free, keto-approved, and tastes sweet because of that delicious fermented rice.
It does taste really good. I'm drinking it right now while we talk about it. It's also made in the USA, rigorously third-party tested. Give your body what it really needs to stay hydrated. Go to quince.com/foul for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/FOUL for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/foul. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Oh my God, Simeon is such a sad at-bat to watch. Also, we saw Jeffrey on not throw strikes in this game. So that was just a good turn.
That we did.
Good heat check. Looked good again on Wednesday, but good heat check on Jeffrey on and Chase McDermott, who still flashes nice stuff, but got roped in the what was that, the 8th inning against the Braves. That was a rough one, but it was nice on Tuesday and Wednesday. These games are over fast. Speed
Super
games.
fast.
Quick, easy losses. And then just watching Zach Thornton on Wednesday, worthwhile, fun pitcher. We dubbed him the next John Neese. I like that he's widened the repertoire out more. I like that we had more opportunities to see him against left-handed batters in this game because, again, the Braves don't platoon as much as many other teams in the league. It's just I like Zach Thornton. We're going to keep saying it every single podcast that he's a fun young pitcher. Please don't put sky-high expectations on him because he had a really good 5-start run to start his career.
I don't know, James. The comment section says that we pick on Zach Thornton, that we are
I
think
we're doing the opposite, trying to protect him.
I was like, I couldn't disagree more. I think we're actually being realist is not being hard on someone. That there needs more realism in this world. A lot of people live in fantasy land. Zach Thornton himself knows that he is not an ace pitcher in the Mets rotation. But I want the mentality for him to be that he goes out there every single time and I am better than you, which I do get that sense with him, which a lot of times from a lot of left-handed pitchers in this organization over the last decade. Talk about the mental side of things. They had zero mentals.
Yeah, I don't want you to just put all these lefties in the same bucket. That's you're being a little bit leftist right now.
I'm doing it. They have to be put in the same bucket.
Mark's a leftist. You heard it here first. But I also like if you saw on Instagram, you don't know if you follow Zach, but he did a post the other day and he used an Oliver Tree song. So that's a ball knower right there.
That is a ball knower.
And I did like in this start specifically that he was just in trouble. It felt like from the first 5 pitches of every single inning.
Game. Yeah.
And he has this innate ability, and some people could say this is bullshit. This is nothing in the spreadsheet, guys. But he just grits his teeth and he finds ways through. He got that nice double play off of Olsen when it was 1st and 3rd, nobody out. I think that was the 3rd inning, and then Ronald Acuna Jr. just ran into an out in the 5th inning, just out of nowhere, and then Zach Thornton was able to leave the start on a high note. I thought they were going to try and push him for 7, but they had to get Danielle in there to really try and secure the loss. Because remember people yelling at us about being upset this team wasn't tanking? This team's going to tank by accident, guys. The deadline was the tank. This bullpen is abysmally bad for as excited as we've been about for the last week. But again, you take Thornton out after a nice 1, 2, 3 innings, 6 innings, quality start, 80 pitches. He can leave this game with his head held high rather than trying to push him an additional inning and risk leaving a start with a bit of a sour taste in your mouth.
Yeah, he got the loss in this one, but he is by no means the reason the Mets lost this game. He made a great start, like you said. It wasn't a dominant start to the point where the lack of Mets offense could have overcame what happened, but I like Zach Thornton. I think he's really good, and I do think that the comment section is misconstruing a lot of what we're saying about him. We're just trying to protect our boy because we don't want the nonsense that happens every single time a rookie gets called up and has, like you said, a good little 5-start stretch.
Or like the first half from David Peterson in 2025, where you're like, yep, this is it. He's an ace. He's not. Just let's wait a second. Did you see how nice Tyler Mahle looked in this game?
Yeah, the Braves, they fucking did it again.
I mean, the way he was commanding that fastball and splitter, like it was perfect. He lived on that outer edge with those 2 pitches. And if you looked at his pitch chart from this game, they were just lined up on the outer edge against the righties. The fastballs were about a little leather high, but still like right on the black, and the split was just falling down straight down off. It was beautiful. And we also keep having the Francisco Alvarez conversations because when he's 9th in the order, fucking rakes.
One of the best hitters in the game.
Gary and I think Ron dropped it on Monday that of all hitters who've hit in the 9th spot in the order this year, Alvarez has the highest OPS by far when hitting in the 9th spot, like something in the 900s. But every time he goes to a different spot, he has no approach. He has no semblance of a plan at the plate whatsoever. I really don't know what it is. It's like an insane hindrance in his development that he has to hit 9th to hit effectively.
It feels like there is a definite focus issue with Francisco Alvarez, and something about hitting 9th, at least from an offensive side, gets him to focus a little bit more. Because also,
I think the opposite.
You think it's
He gets him to relax.
I don't know, man, because I think the reason I say the focus problem is because he has regressed so insanely hard defensively. He can't catch. He can't catch the baseball. It is a difficult thing for him to do right now. That's all focus. That's all that is.
He's up to an 1100 OPS and 110 plate appearances from the 9th spot in the order. But what I'm saying is I think he's a little bit too this is, again, not defensively. I'm talking offensively at the plate. Like in that 9th inning, when the Mets kind of had Iglesias on the ropes after the Bo solo home run, and he's up there as the go-ahead run. He's very clearly trying to hit the 3-run home run and be the hero and win the game.
Always.
He hits a pop-out, an outside fastball or cutter to first base, and it looked like he kind of had a freak out. I remember they quickly, SNY caught the pan of Ozzy Albies and Matt Olson kind of looking back at him like, is he really like pissed off right now? Like they were like kind of shocked about his reaction to a pop out for a team 15 games under in the middle of August. Like it just seems like when he's in the 9th spot, he can take that deep breath and just kind of follow his plan, relax, be a part of the game. But I don't know what else happens to him where he's just overly intense too often sometimes.
It's great. We talked about this earlier in the year, and it's just it gets more and more true every single game.
And a nice bounce back performance by Jan. He got in and out of Dead Nails Jam with just 7 pitches, throwing strikes, struck out Matt Olson. A subdued celebration.
Yeah.
Chilled out a little bit since that first outing. I think he was just jacked up in that first outing.
He should be. He was selling refrigerators and doing roofing in Arizona. He should be able to do whatever he wants. And also, I think good for the mental side of thing, the wherewithal to understand that the Mets are losing. It's not about him right now. It's not about you just get the job done.
Yeah, getting a hold, cleaning out an inning like that, be more amped up. But we just haven't seen 101s. We've been seeing 97s, 98s. So I do think the adrenaline was, and again, rightfully so, just pumping in that first start.
Hot gun in Cleveland, maybe. Who knows?
Who knows? Hot gun in Cleveland. But I do think that's... Oh, and the last thing funny that happened this week. Kodai's the closer now. Devin Williams is on the injured list.
And he looks really good.
Look nasty. This is very funny that this is happening, and this actually might work. Like especially seeing it in this series, like watching Dylan Dodd roll out there for the Braves and be a lockdown reliever. Like Didier Fuentes is also one of the best relievers in baseball. Like it's okay sometimes to take a failed starter and put him in the bullpen. I feel like the Mets just...
Chamberlain?
Yeah, I mean, well, that's a crazy poll right now. I was thinking like Wade Davis maybe because that's a good recent one, but like, no, that's not recent anymore. Jesus, I'm up. But
that's a decade.
that's a long time ago. Jesus Christ. You're allowed to do that. I feel like the Mets just don't bite the bullet and do that very often. Where you can take the starters and you can move them back to the rotation at some point if they get it back together. But like right now, let Kodai Senga be next year's Luke Weaver.
I mean, the day that happens to Silo or McGill, I think we're gonna have to go out and have a drink and celebrate because we've been calling for that since the inception of this podcast.
I mean, watching his brother, it's crazy it's taking so long. I mean, he still might be a good enough starter, but we'll see. But it was also funny that Bench just hooked that ball into the crowd right after.
So funny.
And it was funny seeing them interact. Like, it's fun that those two guys seem like they have a great relationship. It was nice to see Kodai just like happy.
Yeah, it's rare.
He hasn't smiled in years.
Probably since we last interviewed him, maybe.
Maybe the way he pitched through the final few innings of that start against the Phillies, game 1 of the DS.
Yeah,
that was probably the last good moment he had in his team. But it was nice to see him be happy, see that like spark back with him. And again, he looked gross, just going 4 seamers high and goes 4 slow like that. He can be a really, really effective reliever. I have no doubt about that. So happy, and also happy he actually did get the ball back. They reported.
Oh, did he really? Nice.
Yeah.
Good for Kodai. Yeah, put that one up in your trophy case. But I think that's pretty much it about this series.
I think that's the whole series. It feels like we got everything. Jared Young still just plays good ball.
Yeah, good ball player. We know that.
Luis Robert Jr. played a real lazy center field on Wednesday, and then he smashed a home run.
AJ Ewing did make that great diving catch, and
psychopathic.
Was it Gary? Did Gary go on a little bit of a tangent about like he needs to be playing center field every day? Enough of Luis Robert playing center. Unless I misread that on Twitter.
You might have. I was muted for a lot of the Tuesday game. I was doing some work in the background, but I think that's true. I don't know why we're keeping Robert Jr. in center field. They're like, he's never played the corner outfield. Now's a good time to try.
Yeah, because I mean, if Juan Soto's going to be a DH next year, we need a corner outfielder. There you go.
Robert is also still a nice center fielder. Like he made a few really good catches this series. Also, Bailey had another decent game at second. He just can't hit a lick though. So we're just
except for the grand slam.
Except for the grand slam, but he still at least plays hard. That's the difference between him and some of these other guys who are going to be non-tender candidates, like him hoofing it out to right field again to get that ball off the wall. And Robert Jr. was staring at lightning bugs. Like that's the difference right there with Brett Baty. Why he'll be on the roster next year.
Let's talk Fabletics, shall we? They have apparel for every season. We're wearing it as we talk about it. It's soft, it's comfortable. I wear it on the show sometimes on FT. What else do you love about it, Kratz?
Well, I have it on right now, and I'm all about quality. But you know what? You know how good your clothes are when you're a parent and your kids keep stealing all of it. My daughter stole the sweatshirt. My son stole one of my t-shirts. So it's got to be nice looking.
And if it gets a little bit chillier, then it's layering season and they've got layers for the fall. Shop now at fabletics.com/foul to get 70 to 80% off everything when you sign up as a new VIP. Take a quick style quiz and be sure to select foul when prompted to unlock this offer. This is a limited time offer, so do not wait. Again, that's fabletics.com/FOUL for 70 to 80% off everything as a new VIP.
All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room, right?
Yeah, Lindor time.
Lindor time. So Mike Puma got an exclusive, or what do we call this, interview in Atlanta?
Call it an interview.
With Francisco Lindor. Here's the headline. Francisco Lindor tells the Post why he wants to remain a Met and why his confidence in brass hasn't shaken. Shout out to me and James for getting the free trial and canceling it instantly so you guys don't have to. That's right. We got the free trial of the Post Sports Plus. And I got to say, wasn't worth it because we really didn't get too much more than we already saw on the internet. But at the same time, I do love a lot of what Francisco Lindor is saying. I really only had like one issue or exception with anything that he said. Otherwise, I thought everything was perfect. Stuff that I love to hear.
I do too. Stuff I love to hear. I love to hear his confidence in the team, in the brass, specifically in the process. There were a lot of process-laden comments he made. And again, we're going to read all of them for you guys. You don't have to get New York Post Plus. That's our gift to you in this episode. Podcast
Puma,
pays for itself.
Bastard trying to squeeze out a couple dollars for the big New York Post. The difference between Sports Plus subscription reading this article and not was like literally 2 paragraphs at the end where Lindor's talking about Wandy Ossenyen.
Yeah, right? The fact that he even mentioned him. And also, 114 max exit velocity for Wandy Ossenyen. If a 16-year-old did that in America, there'd be op-eds written about him.
Yeah, I've made an alteration to my... I almost said altercation. That would have been the classic me wrong word. Alteration to my top prospect list for the Mets. He's now number 2. You hit it 114 at 16... You're like a top 100 prospect in baseball.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that too. And again, guys, we made our top 10, not 100, Jesus Christ, our top 10 Mets prospect list. We put it out last Saturday. So in case you missed that in the shuffle of just a weekend and then a series happening really quickly, no off day.
That is kind of funny, though, to think about ranking the top 100 Mets prospects. That's just ranking every Met minor leaguer.
Maybe we should do that. I also want to find the perfect time where we're going to do a monster episode. I don't know. I don't know if August is the right time. This might have to be something that waits until November or December, where we go ahead and grade every single move in David Stern's era. Like, we go Coleman Crow for Adrian Hauser and Tyrone Taylor all the way through to the trade deadline of this year. Just straight through.
Adrian Hauser.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's going to be like a 90-minute video where we're going to go every single transaction. But back to this article right here. I do think that in some wording of this, two points. I do really think Lindor still opened the door. Not open the door. I think he kept it cracked open in case a trade were to come up, in case something crazy were to happen. The plan is for me to be here for my contract. When I signed up here, it was to be in the good times, the bad times, and to win. He has no trade clause, so it ultimately is up to him. But specifically the quote that went around a little bit on social media, that when you are in a big market, there's not such thing as a rebuild. There is a little bit of a transition. That's it. You can't afford to rebuild in big markets. So I think we're working towards the right place. We have not taken a step backwards. I think that's him leaving the door slightly nudged.
I don't think so.
I think a tiny bit that in case this offseason, again, doesn't look like it's going to yield a winning ball club, and there's a reason for him. I don't think this will happen. I think there's a less than 5% chance. But just in case he can do it, and it won't really look like as bad of a guy.
See, I disagree because I think like the problem that I had in this article was this comment right here of the we have not taken a step backwards. Definitely have. I think that's a little crazy, Francisco. Yeah, I mean, you guys were in the NLCS and you haven't even come close in the last 2 years. So definitely a step back, along with bringing in one of the best players in baseball, Juan Soto, to a team that was in the NLCS the prior year. Haven't made the playoffs since. But at the same time, I think a lot of these quotes, the reason he went, it seems like he went to Puma to tell him this. That's the other confusing side, is how did the Post get these quotes from Francisco Lindor and not like a good publication?
Well, that's the part too. That somehow, some way, we keep doing these interviews with the Post. Maybe this was just in Lindor's mind to acquiesce the people who are fanning the flame the most. I did like the fact that as they were promoting the post-game show today, Gary Keith and Ron, and it was about Francisco Lindor tell-all at the New York Post. He was like, all right, he finally told all. Can we stop talking about this now because it's a non-issue? I like that Gary said that because, again, it does feel like every single time there's any public comments about this, it's like, no, we're not considering trading him. But again, at the same time, there's been probably too much smoke to the fact that it's never come up inside that room.
Yeah, I mean, I could buy that at least the thought of what I could see David Stearns in the front office having a conversation of what would it take for us to trade Francisco Lindor? What is the package that we would want back in order to move a guy like Lindor? I think that is a conversation that has probably been had, so you're right there. But also at the same time, I feel like all the smoke does not ever come from anybody inside the Mets. It's the classic rival execs feel that Francisco Lindor will be traded this offseason. It's like everybody else for some reason can just stir the fucking pot about the New York Mets, and then for some reason the mutants in the Mets world that run with this shit, or then even just the rest of the media is like, Francisco Lindor will be traded this offseason.
And again, like the Post continuing to get this access, especially to Lindor, where he's going to Mike Puma and he's sharing these very in-depth quotes. We have some more that I thought were very interesting from Lindor.
We'll say those.
But like, why does this keep happening? Why are they getting these scoops? Why is this not Will Salmon or even Anthony DeComo at this point? Like, why?
Or even Jeff Passan, who's got a fucking podcast right now, who's getting everybody on to say things.
Like, are the New York Post like threatening the Mets with these crazy scoops that are going to come out if you don't give like these very tell-all interviews? Like,
How could Mike Puma ever be threatening?
I mean, also, these guys probably just like Puma, I guess, to a degree. Like, Puma is old school. Puma's been around this team forever. Like, the people in the Mets brass are like, yeah, Puma, like, that's Puma. Like, he's always around. You give Puma something, you give the Post something.
Around, yeah.
It is one of the biggest, if not the biggest paper in New York at this point. Probably. I don't know.
I mean, as someone who barely reads and definitely doesn't read the newspaper, I have no clue.
Yeah, not newspaper guys. But again, it's odd that this continues to come up all the time.
Yes.
It just has not stopped. But just to give these quotes now from Lindor, we have the right guys. Stearns is the right guy. That is number one. We have one of the best owners in sports history because Cohen is going to always have the energy that needs to be put into this team. And then it goes on. Some more interesting stuff later on.
Yes.
We have the players you want to build around. You have the young pitching staff along with a couple of pitchers that are a little bit older. You've got Marcus Semien, who's still got a couple years. You have Bo. It's going to be up to him if he stays. You have the young players, talk about Ben Ewing. And then you look at the minor league system. You feel we got better at the trade deadline. So believe we are working forward. Every season that you lose a lot of games, it might look like you're taking a step back, but we're not because there's other things happening around it that are propelling us forward.
I also think it's crazy, too, that later in the article, it talks about how Lindor mentioned a bunch of the guys that they just recently acquired at the deadline, that he mentioned Jefferson Rojas by name, which makes sense. It's top 100 prospect. Mentioned Billy Amick by name, which I think is kind of, if you're Billy Amick, you gotta be like, me? It's a little sass meme of like getting drafted to the NFL. Like, you're talking about me? Why? Why am I being mentioned in this article? Also mentioning Elian Pena and Wandy Asenyan. The thing that makes me think that Lindor, I mean, there's a lot of things that make me think Lindor has no interest in leaving the Mets.
No.
The tons of money, the lifestyle that he has, the fact that it seems like his family is really, really happy being in New York. It seems like he's really happy being in New York. Again, all of the noise that ever comes out about Francisco Lindor never comes from him himself, never comes from anybody in the Mets front office, never comes from any people that actually matter. It is always, it's noise. That's what it is, which is why we try to tell you that all the time on this podcast of listen to the people who are speaking and or who are saying it. There's always an agenda, it seems like. To me, it seems like Lindor is really bought into not only, again, being a New York Met, but the process, like you mentioned earlier. Him singling out David Stearns, I think, is, one, got to be kind of a nice feeling for David Stearns, who's not a favorite by any means of probably even some players in this locker room right now. And also at the same time is clearly hated by the fan base, or most of the fan base, because of the moves that have been made. But he's not second-guessing what David Stearns has done, even in a year, again, where the Mets have vastly underperformed.
And at the time when, if there was anybody in this locker room, I think would have the most negative things to say specifically about David Stearns and what he's done over the last year, it would be Lindor. Lindor's been here for 5 years now. Pete Alonso, Brandon Nimmo, and Francisco Lindor were a unit. Those guys were a core, despite all of the absolute bullshit that people spew about the politics that broke this locker room apart. None of it's true.
Yeah,
I really think if anybody was the most upset about the way this offseason turned out, it was very likely Francisco Lindor. And I think that's him and Pete Alonso were like best friends. Those two loved each other.
Dude, that, and along with the fact of, like, let's just talk about, like, the Soto drama and nonsense that we've been hearing about for, like, the last 2 years. We even mentioned that this was, like, a sneaky thing to keep an eye out for, was Lindor went from being the, like, big man on campus of the Mets, of the highest paid player, the superstar, everybody loved him, to now Juan Soto's come in and said, I make 2 times as much money as you. I am now the favorite player of a fan base, despite playing for rivals and the team across town. Congratulations, you're number 2 now. And even still with all that, for Francisco Lindor to not make a peep publicly about any of this, I feel like it's just, is it too obvious? Is that the problem with it, that it's so obvious that people have to make up these fake things?
And while also not making a peep publicly, like we've said a few times, I'm sure that there's been moments in the last 2 years where Francisco Lindor wasn't exactly additive inside the clubhouse.
Yes.
It does seem like if he was, we wouldn't have had some of the issues and some of the things that have trickled out from relatively trusted sources over the last year. That's all in there fine. But I also like how he went on in this piece to, again, continue to talk about process stuff the Mets are doing and stuff that I don't even think that it's super great process the way he's describing it, but just the fact that how much confidence seems like he has in the organization. I'm talking about, again, you mentioned the fact that he talked about Elian Pena, Wandy Asanian lower in the system. Boomba said that. They are not imminent, but Juan Soto wasn't in the picture with the Nationals. He was in high A, then he's in the big leagues. Same thing with Jose Ramirez. He was in high A, then he finished the year in the big leagues. A.J. Ewing last year was supposed to be in the big leagues this year, so he was early. You never know. They're going to develop in different ways. We have guys like that. We have other pitchers in the minor league system that might not seem like big-time prospects, but they're going to help us.
Yeah, I mean, like,
He's locked in.
He's locked in. He's not just locked into what's going on at the major league level. It also seems like he's very, very focused on who's going to be playing alongside him while he is still here as a New York Met. And it's even funny because Puma, I guess, mentioned to him about, have you considered that by the end of the month that you'll be at the halfway point through your contract with the Mets? Lindor, electric quote, no, because I live in the moment and I know I'm getting older when it comes to baseball age, but I am not old. At the end of the day, I still see it as I have got many years left. But with that being said, we've got to win. We've got to win, right? I want to help this team win. And I don't know how, why, what would ever lead a Mets fan to not love how he ended that. We have got to win. We have to win. I want to help this team win. That's all you could ever ask for out of your superstar player, along with the fact that he's still playing really good baseball. The OPS is all the way back up to 760. By the end of August, it's probably going to be in the 800s or at least really, really close to it. And what do you know? Francisco Lindor is going to be one of the best shortstops in baseball again.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of the crux of this whole thing, that Francisco Lindor is the type of superstar caliber future Hall of Famer that other players I'd be a little bit more concerned about how quickly they could fall off into their early 30s, but he has enough strong underlying metrics right now, enough underlying improvements this year compared to last, and enough of a base of production where I still think we're going to get Francisco Lindor is a really good hitter for the next few years. And again, I think the biggest concern is defensively, and I do wonder if the thing that can actually fracture his relationship in the offseason is if the Mets brass comes to Lindor and says, hey, you see this kid Mitch Voigt? He's going to be ready next June. If this happens, like, would you be willing to not be the shortstop sooner than we first thought when you signed this contract? And I do wonder how that kind of conversation would go, or if they have some crazy shit up their sleeve this offseason, which I think is much less likely because shortstops don't get traded. Besides Francisco Lindor, which is a miracle we even ever got him in the first place.
Literally,
but yeah, I do. He's going to be, it seems like, part of this, and whatever you guys think in your mind, for better or worse. But I think this is definitely better. And even since he came off the injury list, he's been great for the whole month.
Yeah, he's a good baseball player. We have so much data to tell us that Francisco Lindor is an elite baseball player, and people saw a sample size that was a month of COVID baseball and was like, I'm done, trade him, this guy sucks, for no reason. And again, nobody connected to the Mets has ever had any inclination that Francisco Lindor wants to, should be, or isn't welcome in this team.
And even if someone did have the inclination, he's due a shit ton of money and has a full no-trade clause.
Yeah, so he'd be like, I love it here, I don't want to fucking go. He doesn't have to do the Brandon Nimmo.
It's just basically, no matter what, no matter how much some people are going to kick and scream, it's most likely just not going to happen. I hope
it doesn't. I hope it never does.
Absolutely. I wanted to retire as a Met. I wanted to go into the Hall of Fame with a Mets cap on. What I was saying is I hope we don't talk about this anymore.
Yeah, I would actually seriously love Francisco Lindor if there's ever a world where you're listening to 40 minutes into the Mets'd podcast on August 13th when it comes out. Please stop talking to the reporters about anything. Everyone understands you want to be here. We don't need to have this conversation anymore. Please stop feeding into the idiots.
And we want you here.
And we want you here, yes.
A few other things to close this out. Just one more about Gary, Keith, and Ron. Again, I like that they made the mention about Lindor. Like, this conversation needs to stop. I also love that this series they were just saying fuck it in the booth. 3 of them together down in Atlanta. Yeah. The end of this game, where there was not very good baseball being played, they're yapping about travel schedules. Keith is like, I can't take the late flight. I'm going 7:30 in the morning. Funny.
Keith also having the grudge against, what was it, his high school football coach, I think?
No, it was baseball? It was football.
I think it was a football coach, but he had a grudge over a coach, called him out by name on the broadcast. That guy's very dead.
He's probably been dead for 30 years. I also like that they highlighted some random Mets dude in the stands just like dancing with his arms being funny. That clip has a chance to stick around, like the old famous twist water bottle clip from a decade ago. That was probably more than a decade ago at this point, but fun to hear them yap. And I want to shout out a new friend, Sammy Stafura, because he did a little interview with Max Goodman, who I think is NJ.com beat reporter, first year in the beat for Max, and he asked for his all-time Mets team. And some people were getting on Sammy because he said his all-time Mets third baseman was J.D. Davis. I want to tell people to back off the kid.
Yeah, I back off the kid. 1, why do you care what he picks? 2, he is a Mets fan. I'm telling you, he is a Mets fan.
People were accusing him of being a fake Mets fan.
Yeah, I have had conversations with him. Yes, Sammy, David Wright is the only right answer at third base. But also, to his credit, he's 21 years old. So he was born in what, 2005?
He was born 2004.
Okay, 2004. So let's just say he started follow. Some people don't follow baseball until they're 10 years old. I think that's even early for like 95% of baseball fans. So if Sammy Stafura was 10 years old in 2014, that's what, prime David Wright, like,
it still would have been 2015 because it was November. It would have been 9 that whole season.
Okay, so 2015, he got to see the lesser version of David Wright play the game. I think he understands that David Wright is a better player than J.D. Davis. I also think the question was more so, who would be your infield based on who you grew up watching? And I know it sounds insane because J.D. Davis played third base for the Mets in 2019, but for someone born in 2004, he was like 14 years old, 15 years old. That's like prime. I remember all the teams when I was 14, 15. I talk about Omar Quintanilla all the time.
Just to give a sense of how young Sammy Stafura is, he was signed fewer than 2 months before Carlos Beltran signed his first contract with the Mets.
Oh, God.
November 2004. Beltran signed January 2005. Also, we talked about Sammy maybe the first time you start to really get in with these teams, you're 10 years old. So you want to hear the Mets who've had the most plate appearances at third base every year since 2015?
Yeah, can I take some guesses?
Yeah, 2015, who was it?
I can't be David Wright.
It wasn't David Wright.
Was it Eric Campbell?
It was Eric Campbell. Nice. 2016-17, same guy.
That can't be David Wright. He still missed so much time.
It was not David Wright. David Wright is not on this list. He never led the Mets in plate appearances at third base after 2014.
There you go. 2016-17. Would that have been... No, that's not the Todd father, I don't think. Oh, Wilmer. Yeah, that's right. He was third base.
18-19 was the Todd father. 2020. Yep.
J.D. Davis.
Boom, right there. 2021. Fever dream.
Mets. Oh, Eduardo Escobar?
No, that was 2022.
Jose Reyes.
No, thank God not.
Who's the best third baseman in 2021?
Jonathan VR.
How did I forget old Jonathan VR? Shout out, Ernie.
2023.
2023. Wait, we skipped 2022?
Well, 2022 is Escobar.
Okay, 2023 third base for the Mets. So this was... Who was it?
Brett Beatty.
That's never good.
It was also him in 2025, and that time it was good. In 2024, Mark Vientos. This year, Bo Bichette. So, bit of a revolving door at third base since Sammy Stafura was probably watching a lot of Mets games.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't get to really see a lot of David Wright, probably. I think it's very fair to give someone at least the leeway of, like, over-under 10 and a half years old of when you started watching the Mets.
And 2019, J.D. Davis, when Sammy was 14 years old, was sick.
Magical. I'll never forget
Unbelievable.
That walk-off against the Cleveland Guardians down the left field line. That was amazing.
Was that? No, that was Todd Frazier had the walk-off against the Nationals.
Yeah, that was... that's when I bought a Todd Father jersey. Shout out Sean Doolittle.
Yeah, these prospects are young. Don't hassle them on social media.
Yeah, I don't really get it. I feel like...
Not cool, guys.
Yeah, that honestly... some of the biggest loser shit we've ever done as a Mets fan base is hounding this guy.
Yeah, just let's aim Mr. for a chill again. Would love to have him on this podcast soon. And again, guys, we said it at the top. We're planning Mets'd Up community outing in Citi Field, Upper Deck, Tuesday, August 18th against the Nationals. And if you guys want, we're going to try and eat a bunch of rotisserie chicken. So everyone's welcome to bring their own. It's a BYORC, bring your own rotisserie chicken into the Upper Deck at Citi Field. They have a very lax food policy. They let you bring in any food you bring from home. It's very nice.
You probably need a soft container. I feel like you probably can't bring in a hard shell.
I'm gonna pick one up on my walk to the train.
Oh yeah, no, I'm grabbing one right from one of the trade fairs or Berry Freshes or whatever around me in Astoria.
Yeah, I might do a food bazaar over in Brooklyn, but that's going to be the plan. Really, again, you guys don't have to bring rotisserie chicken. I don't give a shit if you don't. I don't give a shit if you do. But that's what we're gonna do. We just kind of want to see if we can get a viral moment. See if SNY will show us on TV. We'll see section 521. We're gonna just say it right now.
Something in the corner. We'll find something in the corner again. All the information will be in the Mets'd Up Discord, so link will be in the description of this YouTube video if you want to join. It's completely free. It's a pretty cool place. It's like super, super active. Shout out to everybody in there. And then before we wrap up, a little Mets preview for the next series, James. Otherwise, people are going to lose their mind if we don't give them this.
Got to do the preview this weekend. Nice off day on Thursday. Everyone enjoy your off day from this godforsaken team. I know Mark and I will. But Friday, weekend series against the Nationals coming to town. Nationals also just dramatically falling out of the playoff race right now. But we've got some fun pitching matchups, of course. Friday night, 7:10. That's what we'll be watching closely.
Jackson
Robert
Kent?
Stock versus Andrew Alvarez.
Andrew Alvarez. Ooh, am I wrong in saying he's got no stuff, but it just keeps working?
No, Andrew Alvarez does a cool thing. There's a cool Fangraphs article about him where he has a nice curveball and he's got a gyro slider that plays off it because he can throw the pitches the same velo and they have different movement.
Interesting, okay.
Which usually when you're throwing curveball and it's moving more, it's coming in slower. But the fact that he has one pitch that drops a few inches and one pitch that drops a few inches more, and they got the same velocity, it helps him be very deceptive. So that's a cool thing. Then Saturday, I think we're going to see Jackson Kent. Interesting prospect coming up for the Nationals. He's facing Sean Manaea, left off. And then Sunday,
big lanky lefties in that one.
Big lanky lefties. That's also a 4:10 game. Great game to go to. And then Sunday, 1:40, Christian Scott against old friend Jake Irvin.
Jake Irvin. Oh, he's due for 10 strikeouts against the Mets.
Or hopefully 10 runs. I want to see an absolute barn burners in these games. I want Robert Stock to pitch well, of course, and Manaea and Christian Scott. But I'd like to see some, this Nationals team plays with action. They're right now without James Wood. C.J. Abrams still a monster. They traded Luis Garcia. A player to watch. Abimelec Ortiz.
Oh, he's been swinging it.
I didn't realize the underlying stats this guy had.
Yeah, I mean, he might run a whiff rate at some point in the 40% range, but he'd be swinging it.
The swing decisions are good. Have you seen the bat speed on him?
Yeah, the bat speed's nuts. I'm interested.
76 mile an hour bat speed. It's 95th percentile.
How the league adjusts.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's a 5'10" left-handed hitting first baseman, so there definitely is an archetype concern. He was one of the auxiliary pieces in the Mackenzie Gore trade they made, which was already yielded insane dividends for the Nationals. Paul Taboni walked into the Nationals and said, "You see how easy this fucking shit is, guys? See how easy it is to build a team in 6 months? That guy's a wizard." But this Nationals team still has one of the worst bullpens in the league. They have bad pitching day in and day out. Let's get out there, have some fun. Let's keep pushing Carson Bench Rookie of the Year and see if Nolan McClain can jump in there too. Let's get top 2 Rookie of the Year just for fun.
Let's make sure that we know that the Nationals know that their season is dead. They got nothing left to play for.
I think they already know.
I know, but I want to make sure. I want to stomp on the grave.
Yes, and honestly, we're probably going to wind up with top 6 lottery odds by accident. So just be okay if this Mets team wins games. We can't be the people who are in my mentions upset that the Mets are winning games because they want to tank so badly. Just it's not worth it.
I'd love for them to name any of the top 6 picks over the last 5 years. Name one.
I think some of them definitely could.
All right, fine.
Frankie Peppers to close us out with Frankie's hot sauce, hot question.
Can't
This is Frankie Peppers. How you doing? Either this team shows life immediately or doesn't at all. So, we do what we do with that. I don't got a lot to say tonight, gentlemen. My hot take is that you should prepare your hot takes before you have, before you say what your hot take is. So, gentlemen, my question to you is, what was your best time? You just said something and it came out really right. You know what I mean? you know, we talk out our ass sometimes. It happens. But what's been the best time you talked out your ass and it made sense? All right, gentlemen, take care. I'll talk to you soon. Let's go, Mets.
Got a few examples of that. You guys listen to hours of this podcast.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's see.
good example of talking out of my ass, and it worked out for me.
I was nasty in college at procrastinating and writing banging papers at the last minute. I think it was my second semester junior year finals. A lot of my finals would be papers and essays because a lot of history and poli-sci courses. And at finals, I had like 35 pages to write among like 6 essays in like 4 days. And I nailed it with 0 drops of coffee.
Yeah, see, my whole play in college for procrastinating was it's just got to be a passing grade. I wasn't trying to get any sort of good grade if I was procrastinating to the last second. So honestly, getting a college degree, pretty good talking out my ass moment, considering how crazy that entire college situation was for me. But truthfully, almost getting a job with Major League Baseball to run their YouTube channel. That's a good talking out of your ass moment. Just I know what I did well. I have no idea how I was actually going to make that happen for the Major League Baseball YouTube channel.
Yeah, right. I think when I was still applying to jobs that weren't in sports, you have a job interview. I'm like, I'm just yapping right now.
I remember right before I decided to do YouTube full time, I applied for an advertising job.
They were applied to one job.
One job. They were like, okay, you got the job, but you need to go to Charleston, West Virginia for a year before we moved you to the Atlanta office. I almost worked in Atlanta. And they gave me like a wage that was like horrendous. It was like such a low amount of money. And I was like, I want this amount of money and I want to be in Atlanta right now. They called back. They're like, deal. I'm like, YouTube channel just took off. I'm not going to take it. Sorry, guys. They're like, you can't do this. You can't do that to us. Fun experience.
The only job you ever almost got, you told them no.
Yeah.
Oh my God, there's so many people right now be like this motherfucker.
It's good being Mark. It's good being Mark. But yeah, that's a good talk out your ass moment.
Yeah, I mean, again, lots of opportunities like that in the world. I mean, especially when you're in New York. You go out every single weekend, you talk out your ass to everyone at the bar. It's fun.
Yeah, of course. Rockarola. Shout out Rockarola as always. And then last little thing here, just want to give a quick shout out to my Uncle George, huge Mets fan, passed away this week, and listened to the Messed Up podcast. We've talked about him before, but we'll miss you, man.
Yeah,
Love
shout
it.
out Uncle George.
Shout out Uncle George.
Happy you got to see the Knicks get one.
Yes, of course. Let's go Knicks. And that's it, guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to Mets'd Up over on YouTube if you're listening to us, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google. Drops a rating, drops a review, download, and subscribe. Follow James on social media at
James Shiano.
And I'm Drafting Mark. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.
Peace out, guys. Go Mets.